The next time that somebody asks you what instrument you play, be prepared to answer that you play the Germanium Compressor. When it comes to compressors, this is not only one of the most musical compressors, but is also one of the most vibe and attitude-filled compressors on the market. Let's start off by listening to how this compressor affects our drum bus. I want you to listen to the difference as we switch between the clean and dirty switch. You're not only going to hear different transient response, but listen to how it affects the harmonic distortion characteristics. For this drum bus, let's leave it on the clean compressor, and I like the amount of input gain that we have. Next, let's experiment with the ratio and the attack and release. Notice as we go faster on the attack, we lose some of the transients. That's a little too much, and that lets a little too much through. And if the release is too slow, we remain engaged in compression the entire time. Now the compressor curve is basically a knee, but in addition to being a knee, there's also a lot of sonic characteristics. Basically, as we go clockwise, we get a harder knee, and I kind of liked what the Germanium medium was doing for our sound. At this point, we're almost always in compression, so let's use the side chain to make sure that we're not getting too much low end triggering the compressor. At around 90, I feel that we get a little less clamp on the drums, and we start to free the kick drum up. Listen to that one more time. Both the kick drum and the bottom end of the snare start to open up. Now at this point we're still compressing really hard, so let's use our mix knob to bring some of the dry signal back in. So what's this Germanium drive and feedback? Well, the two of them work together, kind of like output gain, but they definitely work together in a very musical way. You could hear as we bring the feedback up, we start to get a lot more sustain out of the drums. And additionally, as we use the drive, we get a little bit more distortion characteristics. I like where we landed with a little bit extra drive, but not too much sustain in the drums so that we could keep it nice and tight. Now let's listen to the drums without the Germanium compressor, and then let's listen with the Germanium compressor engaged. Now let's see how the Germanium compressor affects our guitar. I want a little bit of compression on the guitar, but more so, I want to use it as a tone control. So listen to how we could dirty up the guitar and just glue the whole sound together. Listen to how the compressor not only smooths out our guitar sound, but adds additional harmonic distortion that just rounds everything out in a nice musical way. Here's the original track on its own, and then let's listen with the Germanium compressor engaged. Now for the bass, I want to give a little more punch to the bass, so we'll probably try using the Zener Hard compressor curve combined with the perfect ratio, the perfect attack and release. Listen as I bypass and re-engage it. germanium compressor could also be used on your master bus. You have the ability to link your channels from left to right, or you could use mid-side processing. I'm going to click mid-side processing and unlink the channels. Now this is really cool, because not only can you control mid and side dynamics, but you also get the vibe and the attitude of the germanium compressor, which allows you to apply different colors to both the mid and the sides. When it comes to compressors, people will frequently use words such as colorless or transparent, but when it comes to the germanium compressor, I'm going to use the word attitude, vibe, crunch. There's no doubt when you have the germanium in bypass and when you have it engaged. Not only are you going to get your transients under control, but you're going to add a certain sound quality that no other compressor on the market can bring you. Grab the germanium compressor and see what it could add to your tracks, whether you're working in fusion, rock, hip-hop. It's going to add something unique that just brings some width and depth to all of your tracks.